like that was like no doubt what he was
Forgot to
gonna
hit
do.
that.
Um,
I
but
I have it backed up on my phone. Don't I have most of it. Go ahead, Jack.
but like Coach Wallace, like he just always stayed on me, and like we knew like if we stayed the course, like I could ultimately get to where all my dreams were like leading up to. Um, but like just the type of person he is like second to none. Like the dude can connect with anyone like in the building. Like if you're like an inner city Chicago kid to like a small town Iowa kid to like a Tampa, Florida kid, like the dude just is like the ultimate relationship builder, I feel like, in my opinion. And like
Agreed.
again, and like, dude, the thing that gets me most fired up is like in the season, like I'll be riding in on my moped and we're like a morning outfit. So I'll be riding in on my moped at 5 a.m. or like 4:50, and I'll look and that the only coach's car in the parking lot's Wallace's. And then I'll leave at like 9 to go straight to bed, and I'll pass Coach Wallace's, him and like Parker and like a couple other coaches. Like he's literally in there. He's like the first guy in there every single morning and probably one of the last guys out. It's like so like that's like what I respect most about him. Like he genuinely cares about the program, and he's like one hell of a coach. So
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before. It's like some people don't realize the hours that these guys put in, especially during the season. Like they don't see their families a whole lot. And yeah, and Phil and Seth are two prime examples of that.
yeah,
They invest in their guys and they give them every opportunity to succeed. And I think you can say that for over the course of your career, that work that they put in definitely translated onto the field.
for sure. And I mean, yeah, it's just a testament to who he is. I'll also share this other quick story.
Please.
So we're in fall camp. I don't remember what year it was, or it might have been. I think it was fall camp. It might have been spring ball, though. I can't. That's bad that I don't remember that right off the top of my head. But all I know is it was a fully padded practice, and like offensive guys, they like try to run through you to gain like a few extra yards.
Sure.
And so like us, me, Benson, and Jacobs, like we're like kind of the three main guys that year. So we're like all on the field, and like when we're on the field, we kind of like to be a little douchey. And
Of
like
course.
when they try to run through us, like we might try to like spin them down and like tackle them, which is like what we're not supposed to do. And I remember, I don't, it was like a jet sweep, and I gave it to Nico, and he fell down when I kind of was around him, and Coach O'Keefe was kind of getting pissed, and the next play, Justin took someone down, and O'Keefe just starts going off on the linebackers like, "Stay up, like you dumb mother, like you dumb." Like, and then Coach Wallace starts getting into it with him, and these two like grown ass coaches are just like yelling at each other on the field, talking about like Coach O'Keefe's like, "You don't know how to coach your guys to stay up," and Coach Wallace is like coming back like he's telling like shut the hell up, like stay on the offensive side of the ball. But like they were like full on like screaming at each other, and then
And how
like that
fired
was
up
another.
were you?
I mean, I was fine. They all took us out. They took the three linebackers out right away, and that's kind of like a
Because you
staple.
know that's the point of practice where there's like one little late hit and then it's just a fight
Oh,
break.
yeah, exactly. But like that's like another scenario. I feel like he just like stood up for us, and
Yeah,
like
he's got your back for sure.
yeah, like we came out the field just like oh, always have your back. Like don't ever change the way you play. Like just stuff like that. So
Oh man, there's nothing I think got practice a little more lively is when the coaches started jawing at each other. I
oh god,
always love that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll never forget. There's one practice. I forget. I think it was. Man, I forget. But it was
I
a
thought you
period.
said you'll never forget, but then you forgot.
I'll never forget the actual practice. I don't remember
Okay.
when the hell it was, but the defense absolutely beat the piss out of the offense for a period.
Already a
That's usually
fabricated
that's
story. It's
usually
already
how
a
it goes.
fabricated story.
Usually how it goes, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, like the offense did not move a yard forward.
Y'all cheat. What do you want?
Be better. I don't know.
Phil calls blitzes in periods that aren't supposed to be blitzes.
Oh my gosh.
And Wallace comes into the meeting room. And we're like going over film from that day. And I'm like, you guys really beat the piss out of these fuckers now. Like you're walking past the offensive staff, they don't even look you in the eye the next day because they were just pissed off. Oh yeah, but no, I always love the competition, and like the coaches love competing against each other too. They still do the competition periods during camp and spring ball.
Yeah, like within special teams.
No, the ones where you score them, like the last period of a first team.
Oh,
OD.
like third, like live 3rd and 2s.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Yeah,
Where you
like they put
score
you
it.
like in a situation.
They
exactly.
I think maybe my freshman and sophomore year we did goal line, like the score touchdown, but like I don't think my last 2 years we did. I know my last 2 years we did like live, like 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 2s, but that was about it.
Do they still do the combat drill special team stuff?
Oh hell yeah.
You got any combat drill stories?
I don't.
Probably because you were just running through people the whole time, or what?
I fortunately was pretty good at like being the frontline blocker. So I never got laid out. But I've seen some guys just get demolished.
I mean,
just get demolished. And like Coach Woods will always bring like he'll pull up tape from like 2014 or 2016.
I guarantee you, he still has Cole Fisher getting absolutely destroyed by Christian Kirksey on there.
Yep, and I hate to throw him under the bus, but I think Gervais is on there.
Gervais is definitely on there. Let's go.
That doesn't surprise me, you know.
Yeah. Snyder and Gervais. That one was not a great look for Jake.
Yeah,
seems like a kind of guy that would do that. You went back. You mentioned when you were talking earlier about when you came in and you had these big goals that you wanted to hit. How real were those goals to you as as a freshman?
Yeah.
The vision changes and you start to understand more. Like you said, you start to earn more respect. You start to get playing time. You really start to figure out what college football is. And then you look back, probably right now, you do a lot of sort of reminiscing. You're like, man, I didn't even know what I was in for freshman year. I had no idea. When did those goals, like legitimate goals, like I want to be all Big Ten, you did it all, right? Mm-hmm. When did those like really sort of catalyze for you as like, I can actually accomplish this shit?
Yeah. I guess like it kind of goes back to high school. Like I felt like obviously like I wasn't like super like lightly recruited. Like I'm not like Josie where he only had like Luther or like Iowa.
You could have said us. You could have said
and like
us.
Yeah. But like I felt like I was kind of like overlooked. And like that really pissed me. That really
gave you a chip on your shoulder, huh?
Oh yeah, I got
because you talked about Josie, and I don't know if like you knew Josie much or spoke much with Josie. That guy was the chip on the shoulder guy. He took everything personal. He made sure to search his name on Twitter every single day so that he could only find the bad comments. Like that dude was walking on icebergs. So
yeah. And like the thing that kind of sparked that was I went to a camp up in a different Big Ten school. I'm not going to name this guy's name because he's a head coach somewhere now.
Fuck him.
But so it was at Penn State. I'll give you guys that. It was at Penn State, and at the time, this guy was an assistant coach, and like I felt like I did really well, and like I got done with the camp, and he like told me that I didn't have the right ankle bend, and like that's something that like always pissed me off. Was like someone like just tell me like I'm not that good of a football player. Like just don't lie to me about my ankle bend. So like that's something that like I kind of carried with me like to Iowa is every year that we played Penn State. Fortunately, I only lost to them my freshman year, but like those guys, like I wanted to beat the piss out of them.
Hell yeah!
But like even at Iowa, like bro, people like you guys know, like people that just look at us and like, oh, they're just a bunch of like 2-star recruits who are like gonna get run through on Saturdays, and how it always works is we always get like 8 wins a season. Like we should have made it to back-to-back Big Ten championships, but that's not how it goes sometimes. But like no, that's like that kind of stuff. Like I just carried with myself every single day. But like going into freshman year, I kind of stepped on campus and I just wanted to like be on special teams, and like that was kind of my viewpoint that for that season because I knew like if I want to be great, like it's going to start on special teams. And they always showed like Bob Sanders running down on like a punt and like
So you
breaking
absolutely annihilating someone.
Yeah, breaking this guy's leg.
So you bought into that story that they tell everybody. And oh, shocker, it worked again,
It's also not hard because Wallace was your linebacker coach, and he's also one of the biggest special teams advocates. So
100%. So freshman year, I kind of just tried to earn my role on that. I got in a few games freshman year, and I'll never forget in 2019, we played Wisconsin, and Jonathan Taylor ran all over us. And you guys had this podcast running, and I listened to it. And you guys were kind of talking about how like disappointed you were in the defense and how like it might be changing. And like that's something I kind of kept with myself throughout these years too. It's like
my man.
Like
I remember that podcast,
It's like, well, it's like
the walk-ons are making a difference.
when you're a current player and you like hear that stuff from like guys who have come before you, like if that sits right with you, like I feel like that's not, like you're not gonna ever be a good football player.
Yep.
And like from me, like from that game, like we absolutely got annihilated, and that was something like stepping forward, like I wasn't gonna allow happen like again. But I was only a freshman again, and I'm still trying to earn my way and like figure my way out. But then like sophomore year, I was gonna start, which like there's not a lot of 3-year starters at Iowa, so I was kind of hyped about that. But I got mono. And I missed like the first three games of the season, and it was like the COVID season. It was everything was all messed up. So then me and Benson split time, and like just learning from Benson. Like I'll get to him later because I'm definitely gonna swing back on Benz, but like just being able to kind of rotate with him, it just kind of allowed me to kind of slowly like get my feet wet. I feel like, and just like good experience. And then like 2021 came around, and I'm like, like I'm just. Like I kind of had a few like kind of good games in 2020.
A couple.
Yeah, and like kind of people were starting to kind of figure out who I was, and I'm like, like let's run with this, and I'm like my goal for this year, like me and Wall sat down, I'm like, I want to be a first team All Big Ten. I want to win the linebacker of the year in the Big Ten, and I kind of left it at that for my junior year because I honestly didn't know, and then I had a pretty good junior year.
Decent junior year.
Decent junior year. And then like going into my senior year, I wanted it all. I'm like literally every award. I'm like, I told Wallace, like, I'm gonna win all these. And he's like, I just need you to continue to coach me the way you've been coaching me. And like, we're gonna win every single award that I've like written down in this book. And we did that.
That's fucking unbelievable.
That. And like Coach Morgan too. Like I came on campus my freshman year, and he's the one, like I was his last recruiting class, and he like looked me in the eyes, and he's like I don't say this to many people, but Jack, you're gonna be a 2-time first Big Ten linebacker here. And like when I heard that, like it kind of got me thinking, like kind of put pressure on me, because like hearing those words from a guy like that. But I'm super grateful for that, and like. It just shows how good of a coach he is. He saw like the kind of prospect I was going to be and what I could have turned into. But ultimately, it was kind of on me to turn myself into that guy he saw and like his visions. I don't know if he dreamt of it. Like him and Parker, those dudes are insane. But like,
yeah, they got special powers, huh?
They do.
They've seen a lot of players, man. They've coached a lot of greats, and there's a certain aura and set of intangibles about the greats that these guys can see.
Yeah, but on the other hand, there's been a lot of guys that walked in the building with really high expectations, and probably have had coaches say similar things to them. How do you let something like that not go to your head and just?
Yeah. For me, like I kind of feel like that's just how I was raised. Like my family and like my grandparents are like really influential in my life, but like. Just like the selflessness and like humility and like humbleness, like it just was kind of part of who I was. Like I don't really like the spotlight at all. So I would just say like, just focus on like little things that matter. And like my freshman year, Coach Doyle was there, and he was like really influential in that process. Of
Coach
yeah,
Dole, keep
I might have
We've
just
talked
opened a
about it.
can of worms right there.
No,
you're
no.
good,
Like,
man.
No,
This
you
is
the episode we just
biggest
did.
pro Coach Doyle podcast there is.
yeah, but like he like kind of paved the way and set a foundation for me. And like same with Coach Braithwaite. Coach Braithwaite's great too. Like I really like both those guys. Like I owe them a lot within my development as a young man. I came to Iowa. I was 205 pounds when I came,
Same.
and I left at 250. So that's pretty good.
Black average.
How many shakes a day were you?
Freshman year I was probably around 5 42s a day, and then like 4 blendeds. So I was putting
542s.
Hold on a second. Holy
How
shit.
Yeah, I would at least have like 3 chocolates, and then I'd try to get like 1 veggie or 2 veggies.
Dude, you were getting like 500 grams of protein a day.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
like
yeah.
300 just from the shakes.
Yeah,
Follow-up
no,
question.
I was dead set on getting as many calories as I could. Like there was a point like I could hardly eat. Like
Follow-up question. How much toilet paper were you going through?
Yeah, the dorms.
Jack, that's I mean like the Jennings
insane.
The Jennings Dunker story came out in the middle of the season or the preseason that he was doing like 14 a day or something like that.
Yeah,
like, but
he's different.
Is he stupid strong?
Dude, stupid strong. He's different. That dude's different.
He just has
like I was around with Wirfs for a little bit, and like that dude's like different too.
The ultimate freak.
Like,
he could be the best offensive lineman to ever play.
Yeah, no, 100%. Tristan Wirfs is insane.
Yeah.
But Jennings Dunker, like he's bench pressed the most weight I've ever seen like anyone do for like 10 reps or like 12 reps. I want to say I can't remember the exact weight, but I know there was 3 plates on there and he repped it out for like 12. Like easily.
Decent.
So you're saying that you think Jennings is stronger than Tristan?
Maybe in the bench. I don't remember Tristan's bench. Like no one will ever come close to like cleans with Tristan or anything like that. But I want his squats up. Jennings squats up there too. I don't even know, but he just a specimen.
So did you ever get to play with Brady Ross?
Oh yeah. Oh Brady. Yes, I got a bunch of good stories about Brady Ross.
Yes, so do we.
Dude, I love that guy. And like as a freshman, like what a great guy. Like he like would always look out for me and like always start conversations with me. But just an interesting dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's well read on just a variety of topics, and he can deep dive into anything. Yeah. And he's got some really interesting opinions. We got to have him back on the podcast here.
He won't fucking come on. He's too worried about making McBiscuits
Edward Jones.
Yeah. So back to the protein shakes quick. And so you just like hated your life for a while because you were. Yeah.
I mean, I just knew like if I wanted to play in the Big Ten and play a linebacker and like do it soon, like I had to get to at least 235.
So how quickly did you do that?
My sophomore year, I played at 235. So
you gained 30 pounds in a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus
my sophomore
Christ.
year, I was like I was like 232, 233.
And how was your strength development from your first year to your second year?
Yeah, like my lower body like exploded.
Yeah.
Like no, I had a labrum surgery when I came in, so like I've never been like.
Welcome to the club, dude.
Yeah. So like my bench press my freshman year was terrible, but so like when you're a freshman, if you look at a weight and like you're around like Doyle and Braithwaite, like you're just gonna get stronger. So
all you got to do is smell the weights, and they can get you stronger immediately.
Exactly, and like have some common sense and try to get like at least like 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
it's hard to do though. It's hard to do,
especially that freshman year in the dorm room, especially because y'all started off in Peterson. And you guys got like chicks that could be living right next to you, right across from you. Like at least in Hillcrest, they're like 50 yards down the hall, right?
Yeah, and Peterson was like a co-ed dorm, so it's like the wild west. Like on Friday nights, like before the first game I didn't travel to the hotel with the team. I believe. And I remember like on Friday night before the game, we opened up with someone and like there was just music was like so loud, like throughout the whole hall. Like people are just running around everywhere. It was a mess. And like
we used to have parties in our hall on Friday nights. So everybody would just come out in the hall and just party in the hall.
Really?
Right outside Drake and I's room.
Yeah. No.
Second floor was worse though. We had it a little bit better on the third floor.
That's true. I will say that Drake, this is just a sidebar, would have been bad news. We were in Peterson. I just got feelings.
Horrible news.
Would have been bad news. I'm not going to elaborate. Would have been bad news. So, okay.
I'll speak on Brady Ross real quick. I had one story about him.
Sure.
Like, so like, you know, like, did you guys ever do special teams meetings? Like player-led special teams meetings?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that was my job actually.
Okay.
Bar would always like go over and it's like, hey, we gotta get these guys together more. I can't do it, so I need you to do this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that's what Brady did for me. And like throughout the season, they just kept getting shorter and shorter. And by the end of the season, we were setting the over-under line at like 14 and a half seconds. He would literally walk in the room and it would only be the defensive guys that showed up. He'd walk in the room. We'd be playing like, for instance, like I'll give you an example, like maybe Michigan, and he'll be like, or like Wisconsin, we'll play Wisconsin, it'll be like punt, pro style punt, kickoff. They're a 55 deep kick left team, kickoff return. They're double the R4, trap the R5. Field goal line that gets like the 33, and then like punt for the punt block they're like 55% rush and it'd be done, and we would just be dying laughing because like it's just like, what the hell are you doing, dude?
B. Ross got real thin on them meetings, huh?
He did.
Man. That's funny.
I respect it because, you know, it's kind of the same. Like, I think the first meeting I did was like 20 minutes. I'm like, what am I doing? All right.
Yeah.
Like, wait, I love special teams. That's literally all I did, but there's only so many things they can fucking do. Right?
Exactly.
There's nothing more brutal than the bull prep special teams because you watch every clip 900 times.
Yeah, you see the same shit over and over again. Unreal. We
should talk about KF, dude. I really want to hear.
Oh yeah, you asked about KF earlier.
Yeah. No, like, so Coach. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you've had a few special moments that have gone viral. I know you don't give a shit about Twitter and all that, but you know, you're the bowl game obviously, and then you know you over at just this past weekend at the combine, they bring it up and they're interviewing you, and you get emotional. You know, I think people see it over and over again, and they just never understand it unless they've met the guy, and you can take it from there. Yeah,
no, like Coach Ferentz, like I am forever grateful for him, just because like you guys know, like it's not all about football. Like your whole career is going to develop you as like a man first, and then as a football player, and like that's what I respect the most out of him, because like you see all these slime balls out there now in college football who are just like shitty examples of what it's to be like a good human being. And like, I'm not trying to judge anyone or anything, but like, it's kind of ridiculous. Like I would rather go 0-12 and be led by Coach Ferentz and be represented by a good man than go 12-0 to a guy who like beats his wife and like gets DUIs and shit like that. So I would say like, just having the opportunity to like play for someone like that, but then like again, like a guy who like believes in guys who like a lot of people don't believe in, and like gives them an opportunity to come to Iowa and like earn your right. Like if you're a walk-on or a scholarship guy, like you viewed the same, like just the way he approaches his program and like the culture he's made there. Like for me, that's what like makes me the most proud to like be coached by him and be a player from Iowa. Like I truly like think he like runs it like a professional organization.
Yeah.
And that's
why so many Hawks succeed in the NFL, dude. We've already done the shit that hard.
Exactly. And it's ridiculous that people question him and like all this, like he knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for like 25 years and like has a proven track record. But like the thing like I respect most about him is just like has integrity, treats everyone the same. Like he'll like open door policy. Like he's a player first coach. But like when you go out on the field, like he expects things from you. And like he's gonna hold you to the highest standard, no matter if you're the third team long snapper or the first team quarterback. And like there's just been so many good memories with him. Just how he's treated my family, always remembers everyone's name.
It's insane.
Like
always
handwritten notes. Like the most recent one I can think of is, so after the bowl game, my grandfather like passed away during that.
Yeah.
And he like wrote like a handwritten note to like my whole family, like sent flowers after the game, like met with me and my family. He like brought me and my family into the locker room, met with all of us in like an individual way. Him, Coach Wallace, and Coach Parker all met with me in this little room and like with my family. And like that doesn't happen anywhere else. Like that they care that much about their players. And like that's what like for me, like that's what gets me so fired up about him, is because like he gave me a shot when a lot of people like didn't give me a shot. And like for me to be where I'm at right now, like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't without KF. Like I don't know where I'd be, but it wouldn't be getting ready to get drafted and continue my football career. Like I don't even know what I'd be doing, but like
you might have worked out, but
I don't know. It would have been different, I feel like, because
it would have been different.
Like the perspective and all the knowledge I gained from him, like maybe I do make it somewhere else, but like Iowa, like that program's it's run like no other. Like it's run like second to none. Like there's no other program run like Iowa. And like people listening to this are gonna be like, oh, you're so biased. Like, but like I have friends that play at other places too, and like it just sounds like a shit show. So like I'm like to just have like a low key like philosophy. Like it's super simple, but it's hard to do. And I feel like that's what Coach Ferentz does at the highest level. And like
simple, not easy.
Like exactly. And he's changed my life forever. So like that's why I kind of get all worked up. Like when people like ask me about him, like just that picture, like the picture that they showed, like it's like that's my favorite picture ever. And like it like shows who he is as a man. Like so
you just so much deeper than football with the coaches in that in that program. It's
exactly.
It's much deeper than just a game.
You basically just described like why we started the podcast. It's just because we felt all the same things that you felt.
Yeah.
And like in our football careers, we're not continuing, unfortunately. And so we were like, man, we really got to find a way to just kind of like keep this in our lives. So that's good.
Yeah. And coming from three guys who have so much respect for the guys running that program and just the program in general, just you can't imagine how good it feels to hear from current guys or guys obviously you just graduated still talk about it in the manner that we remember it as. Like feels fucking damn good, man.
Yeah,
feels fucking damn good.
Does feel good.
Yeah.
You're a decent representative of the university too. Like you're one of the top. Do you feel pressure?
Do I feel pressure? Honestly, not too bad. Like before this season, like the only really pressure I feel like I faced was like I was like a preseason Big Ten Player of the Year, and like kind of facing that. But like at the end of the day, you know, I'm like, no matter what, like I'm just gonna be Jack Campbell. Like people can like, if they don't like me, they can kick a rock, and if they like me, then like let's ride. And, like,
let's ride.
Let's go. Let's get the Hawks to the Big Ten championship again. But that's like the extent of pressure I felt like preparing for the combine. Like all these people just see me and like they instantly make an assumption about me that I'm not athletic. I wonder why. But
well, I mean, like, we may have just proved him wrong a little bit here.
I kind of
last couple of days, huh?
Yeah, so I feel like I did kind of prove myself in that aspect and open some people's eyes. But
I made some money.
Yeah, you're a freak, dude. Let's just call a spade a spade. You're a freak show.
No.
No, Jack, you are though, because when we graduated and you came into the program, my brother was there for a while. You probably know Zach.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys that I talked to, they said this guy, Jack Campbell, he runs like a deer.
They said you versus conditioning was a pathetic, lopsided fight.
I could for sure go all day.
Yeah, that's what we heard.
Bro, when like Doyle and like Braithwaite are like standing in the middle of the field and like you got your boys like next, like I could go all day. Like,
hey, no, Jack, that's not how it works though for most people, buddy, because Doyle stood in the middle of the field when I ran, but my lung capacity and athletic ability did not tell me I could go all day. Yeah. Mine said find the nearest trash can, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So that I understand that you are. I mean, when I heard that you ran like a deer and that it just wasn't like, did you ever struggle at all in any conditioning workout ever?
I mean, I got to push myself to exhaustion. Like I try to every rep I ran, I sprinted like 100%, like 100% full bore. So like I try to get myself as tired as I could. But like at the end of the day, like there's all these stories. Like when I came in, Coach Doyle, like Josie Jewell was a guy I looked up to, and like he always talked about how Josie would like
ran hard conditioning.
Like
Josie was a competitive motherfucker too.
Yeah. And like I heard when Chad was on the podcast, like Chad Greenway, like that's a dude I looked up to since high school, and like talking about like the way he approached conditioning. So like I felt like that was kind of what I had to do. To like be like to be a linebacker, to play like I played thousands of snaps a year, and like to be able to do that at the highest level, you got to be conditioned. And I feel like in the summer, there's nothing more important than getting your body ready for the season. So
you and I had
when did it become easy, dude? When did football become easy?
I mean, I feel like it became easy probably like the end of my sophomore season. Like I just started
when the confidence meets the preparation,
it just starts
physical.
To click.
It just
like between like physically, like learning the Iowa defense, like that's something that's not easy for a young guy to do. Basically, like just all the checks within that, and then like honestly, just having confidence in yourself. And I feel like that was like at the end of my second year. I was like I know the defense good enough. Like at the end of the day, like I'm not gonna stress about like every little detail. Like just go out there and like get the football. Like that's what Coach Parker told me.
Yeah.
And then once I started getting the damn football, then I started like trying to figure out the details a little bit more. And like then my third and my fourth year were just.
You knew they couldn't fuck with you. It was a wrap. You were gonna make the plays because they couldn't see you.
Yeah, I was just trying to make as many tackles as I could.
Yeah.
But nowadays everyone throws the damn ball. So like I can't get as many tackles as like in like 05 when Hodge and Greenway, like they shot like 150 tackles.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to break that. I was trying to get as many tackles as those who just
on the opposite side of that, now you at least don't have to take on 50 B plays a game. So you got that going.
That is true.
When you talk, Jack, you have a supreme confidence about you, and it's not cockiness, something that I never mastered. And you talk about being confident, being trusting in yourself, all this stuff. And I don't know if you'll admit this or not, but I'm going to tell you that you have a proclivity for true belief in yourself paired with a lot of natural ability. Do you realize that, like, for lack of a better term, like you're better than other people, like most other people? And that's sort of where I'm going with the pressure thing is like your ceiling potential. Do you realize that yours is higher than most? And does that put the chip in your shoulder? Like, do you have a little bit of fear of like, damn, I don't want to leave anything on the table?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like for me, like where I get that chip on my shoulder is just all these people always questioning me. And like, honestly, all these people questioning Iowa, because like, I just care about like the people inside that building so much. And for me to like go out there and prove and show like the whole world, like we do have the best coaching staff We do have the best developmental people, like support staff around. And for me, that was kind of my way of like going out on the field and like proving. For me, like I'm a huge Iowa, like I'm like any high school Iowa kid who like dominates and like proves people wrong. It makes me so happy.
Are you a big
And
Cooper
like,
DeJean fan?
I'm a huge Cooper DeJean fan, a huge Brody Brecht fan. Like that, like when he took down #1 LSU and like just was striking guys out
Hype.
and telling them and like probably flipping. He's probably on the mound flipping them off, like walking back. Like that makes me so happy. Like to see like a young Iowa dude like going out there and living his dream. And like for me, that's what I wanted to do. And like I feel like that kind of came like Pat Anger. Like he like his story has been
Pat?
shared and like he's just like an Iowa boy who just didn't give a crap about anything than playing football. And like for me, that's like what I wanted to do. And I wanted to do it at the highest level. And I feel like so many people question us all the time. So like that chip on my shoulder just kind of stayed there. And I feel like I kind of had that mentality of just like, I'm going to prove myself every single day. I would say it was there is a little bit of like fear of not being the best version of Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
Like that. I feel like that drives me quite a bit. Like I don't want to sit back when I'm like 60 and look back at this time frame right now and be like, I should have done this. Like, what if this? Like, I'm just going to let it rip right now and just let it all fall into place. But like at the end of the day, like, I feel like when you come from Iowa, you just got this chip on your shoulder that like no one can really explain. And I feel like that's what kind of drives me.
Do you know Anger personally?
Follow-up question.
What's up?
Do you know
Follow-up
Anger
question.
personally? Oh, go ahead, Kev. Go.
I was going to say, just because, do you want to be the governor of Iowa? Because it feels like
I do.
You could probably.
That's the thing. That's the thing I was going to like. That's one thing that I would like be interested. I have thought about like becoming a governor.
Dude, you're
like,
fucking. You're hired.
I have no political background, but I just feel like just like person to represent the state and like someone who's proud of the state. Like I'm probably far from the credit, like whatever like credits I need to like be able to get into that.
Doesn't matter,
but
man. Half the politicians out there aren't qualified for shit. I just want good people out there. And I feel like you'd run this state to the fucking moon, baby.
What is it? 28, 32, 36. Campbell, 2036. Print the shirts, baby.
Do we need it? I also have thought about like, this is kind of recent, but like hopefully someday, like I think it'd be pretty cool to become like a GM or like something with like it within the NFL. Or like
that wants to be a governor and a GM. High aspirations.
I don't think I could be a coach like though, because those college coaches are insane.
Not a healthy lifestyle either.
Exactly. Like I feel like being the governor and being a GM, your schedule is probably not.
It's also not great.
Too easy either, but like those are just things I think would be fun to just be in a position to build like an organization up like that. I feel like that's something that I feel like I'd kind of fit in.
Now, other three, Grant included, when he says that, you believe him. That Jack's a guy that he says that kind of shit. And I'm like, yeah, he's the fucking governor in 20 years.
And Jack, you 23? You 23, 24?
I'm 22.
Okay, so
you're wow. Yeah, when you're 20 years old and your nickname is now Captain Jack of the Iowa Hawkeyes as a sophomore, it's like, yeah, this guy could lead the goddamn country if he wants to.
What I was about to say is that, Jack, you've been here 22 years, and I'm not sure that there's anything you've put your mind to that you've failed. So down the road, with all the more life experience you're going to get, I think you're just going to continue to not fail at the shit you put your mind to. So go be the governor, dude. I'll vote for you 100%.
I'm excited. Right now, my full focus is on football, but after that's over, I'm going to take that as long as I can. But when that's over, like just trying to figure out what I want to do, who knows? But like, I feel like the governor thing came from after the season this year. Miss Miller Meeks, she's like a legislator or something. And she wrote me like a handwritten note, like congratulating me on my season. And I feel like there's not a lot of people who would do that. So I'm like, I'll run next to her.
I swear
How cool would it be? He brought up Anger, just Campbell Anger 2036.
Dude.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I was trying to ask you, Jack, do you know Pat personally?
So I have Pat's number. I've texted with him a little bit.
Cool.
But like he's been a guy like any middle linebacker, like you strive to be like that.
Yeah.
And like for me, like he's just been a huge influence on my career as well. Like he has a quote in the linebacker room I look at every single day, and it says the only it's like the to be a good Hawkeye linebacker, the only thing you have to care about is being a good Hawkeye linebacker. And like that was something that like I'd stick with, that stuck with me throughout my career. But like Pat, like he's the man for sure.
Yeah,
And like,
I was gonna say we need to get you in touch with Pat if you haven't been,
yeah,
because he can
no,
just give you some tidbits that'll just stick with you, man. And
yeah,
Pat's great. He's great people.
Stay away
For
from his
sure.
physical shape though. He's let it go a little bit. He's getting a little that
Does
boy.
does Wallace still have the acronyms on the wall there?
yeah,
Linebacker room?
like I brilliant at the basics.
Which one's your favorite?
Oh, there's eliminate the distractions. That's probably not my favorite though. Um, I'd say 6 seconds of hell.
Yeah,
SSOA. Like that.
You know,
That's
it's a Norm Parker
That's
thing, right?
Yeah, that's a Norm Parker thing.
Yeah.
But like the way they made it so simple, like to go out there and play for 6 seconds and
Just
give them
6
hell.
seconds at
Like,
a time.
like that's the thing that sticks with me. And I feel like I try to like play with that. So
And it turns out Jack has 6,000 minutes of hell if you want, because his lung capacity is that of
yeah.
whales, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm fired up. I'm fired up talking to this guy. Just spent the last weekend at the combine, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people, you've mentioned it multiple times already. You're under recruited. Now you're probably feeling pretty similar coming out of college because people are doubting Jack. Yeah, guy
he
was
won
a
the fucking butt kiss, and people are
winner.
still questioning you, dude.
Yeah.
What is that? Think about the stupidity.
It's ridiculous. Like I showed up there, and like there's some great dudes, but like no one really wanted to talk to me. Like, and like within like the players, like each like there's like a little clique and like different groups, but like I was just like, damn, like I just want to get to know you guys. But like near the end of the week, I met some really good dudes and like we kind of hit it off. But like at the start, like everyone was just like looking at me and I just felt weird. I just felt I'm like I'm gonna go out there on whatever Thursday or whatever. I'm gonna prove some people wrong. But I met with a lot of cool people though. That was really cool. I met with a lot of cool coaches, a lot of cool scouts. Just get to hear their insight, hear their stories.
Did you feel good about those interviews? I mean, you had to crush those things, right?
Yeah, I did pretty good. I think. I would think.
You have a lot of board talk.
Yeah. So they pull up some plays from like last season, and like there'd be some plays that popped up, and I knew them instantly. There were some other ones I kind of had to watch for a little bit to figure out what we were in and everything, but like they went really well. And like I feel like the NFL has a great appreciation for Iowa's defense as well. So
yeah,
right, they do.
What I've learned, yeah.
This is.
Go ahead, go.
Well, I was gonna play devil's advocate here. I just, you go into those things, and I don't know if you're like Josie or not. I'm sure Josie spent just like months reading this stuff.
Yeah.
But you pull up a draft profile of Jack Campbell. I literally just did it as you were answering that last question. And it says, he's slow to react and locate the ball against the run, a stretch to be able to cover tight ends in the NFL. Do you read that kind of stuff and you just feel like you're just like, fuck yeah, dude, just wait.
Josie had poor side-to-side
lateral mobility and agility.
It's ridiculous. But like for me, like again, like I'm used to it, and like people can keep doing it, and I feel like it just fuels my fire.
Yeah, it just stokes it, right? And then you go out and they got and this is just a fun thing for the outside people as well, but they have this thing called like a RAS score, right? Relative athletic score.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I have the best all-time as a long snapper in the history of the
Do
world.
you?
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. Hella short though. Did not help. Thank you though, Jack. I appreciate that. You went out and basically had a perfect one as well as a linebacker. Kind of going against all of these weaknesses that they're talking about. Like you had to walk away from the field work and from your testing feeling like,
yeah,
you just like did it again, right?
I wanted to walk like through the field and just like flip everyone off.
Yeah.
Like, because like that's just how that's how it is. Like people are gonna still sit back there and be like, oh, he ran a 4.65. But like, bro, all these other linebackers weighed in at 225. It's like the lightest linebacker class there's ever been since 2003.
And if you
Like,
were
people don't
225, you
know
would be flying.
I mean, I'd hope I'd be running as fast as those guys.
And you play football fast as hell.
But, like,
just turn on the tape.
Exactly. And then it's like we don't play football in like compression shorts and cutoffs. And it's like we should know what the NFL should do. They should put full pads on and sure on the 40.
Honestly, what they should.
Let's do it.
What do you think? It probably takes half a second, maybe off.
It's got to take something off.
Tell you what, for my sake, I'm glad we didn't play in compression shorts. That would have been bad.
Yeah.
How do you feel like overall, like your test, like going into it, like these were my goals to hit? How do you feel like you did as far as your testing?
Yeah, my vertical goal was going in was like 36 inches, so I beat that pretty good.
Crushed that, Jesus.
My broad jump goal, I don't know what the hell happened, but my goal was like 10'2". I got that. Yeah. I knew I was kind of disappointed in my 3-cone though. My 3-cone should have been better.
Your all-time like best linebacker 3-cone should have been better.
Yeah, because so my first rep, they made me do it 3 times. My first rep, they said I went over this cone. It was close. And I came away from that and I looked at those guys in their faces with the stopwatch. And they told me it was a pretty dang good time. And I feel like that time would have been a little bit better than my other time. But
what did you run it? What did you run?
I ran like a 6.74 or 3 or something. I was hoping to get in the 6.5s though.
So folks don't exactly understand how elite 6.74 is.
7 seconds is like good. It's like really good.
Yeah. And I knew Josie ran like a 6.8 something. Cause I kind of like, before I went, I was kind of like, I'm never comparing myself to those guys, but at the same time, like I just kind of getting ready, like what's a good benchmark. And like, so I looked at like Kirksey, Greenway, Jewel, like Keekly, like guys like that. And I feel like I did a pretty good job.
So are we testing again at Pro Day or are we have?
I don't know. Part of me wants to try the 3-cone again and get
if there's anything, but I'm not sure. If there's anything I'd recommend doing again at Pro Day, it's running the 40 because your 40 time's gonna improve. Like the NFL combine times are always the slowest that you get.
For sure. And like I respect guys who can go out there and ball on the combine because like we have interviews till like 11 p.m. and then we wake up at like 6.
It's a grueling schedule, isn't it?
Yeah, and the food, like the NFL is trying to save as much money as they can, so the food's just not that good.
That's
no offense, like the people who prepared it, I'm super grateful for, but the NFL, like
the $100 billion operation can't afford a $20 lunch rate. Yeah, Josie told us it was the worst 2 days of his life.
Yeah, and like they have people sleeping in like train cars.
What?
Like, there's what? Yeah, so there's a hotel. It's a hotel, but there's like train cars, and there's rooms inside these train cars, and they're tiny, and people will like stay in there.
The NFL had you guys at Auschwitz. What are we doing, Roger Goodell?
This needs to be written up.
It's just like it's ridiculous.
It's like, despicable.
I mean, they're just trying to test you, though, I feel like. And, like, so anyone who can, like, perform at the combine, I have a lot of respect for.
Do you actually think that? Do you think they make some of the protocol on purpose so that –
For sure.
100%.
They're just trying to break you. They're just trying to break you.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Let's go back. You said you're talking about Benson. Tell me about Benson.
I feel like Benson's like one of the most underrated guys in Iowa football history.
We're big Seth Benson fans on this podcast.
And that's something like big to say, but like the dude like is one of the toughest people I've ever been around. He's one of the best leaders I've ever been around. And people like usually like, cause like I hate to say it, but like me and Justin, like coming in, Justin was kind of like the like everyone was kind of looking at him.
He was the dude.
He had stars.
Yeah. And then I kind of started playing a little bit, and then people kind of started liking me, and like a lot of people like really never talked about Benson, which
Mm-hmm.
I feel really bad for. Like I wish Benson's probably better than me, so I really wish people would talk more about Benson. But like just the way he plays the game, like old school dude, like only had an opportunity to go to South Dakota State, comes to Iowa, balls in the Big Ten. Like he was like one of the best guys in pass coverage this year. Like it's just ridiculous. Like that's a guy I feel like is gonna just get to a team and he's gonna stick because he's just one hell of a guy. Like
And no one's gonna
would
know. Everyone's gonna ask where he's from, and they're gonna be like
exactly,
Iowa.
and I feel like he's like an Ike Butker type of guy, like a
Yeah.
great guy.
He's Ben Neiman in my opinion. He's just gonna probably get picked up by the Chiefs, win a Super Bowl,
Exactly.
and,
Exactly, and then
just be
signed.
happy.
Is he? He's done with the Cardinals now, isn't he?
Ben.
Well, he was on a
He signed a
1-year deal.
1-year deal. I don't know if he did. He get re-signed.
He hasn't yet. He hasn't signed with anybody yet, but I know he still has his place down here.
He will.
Yeah.
He will.
Yeah.
So Jack, we speaking of Seth graduates, you graduate.
Yeah.
Jacobs is going to Oregon. Who are we backfilling in the at the linebacker spots this year? Who do you like?
I'll just go with some like older guys, because usually like at Iowa, like usually your older guys lead. I feel like Jay Higgins is a great candidate.
Sure. Yeah, we saw him a few times throughout the year. Yeah.
Yep. Kyler Fisher is going to be a great candidate. I'll put like Carson Shire in there. He's kind of a younger guy with a lot of potential.
Okay.
I know I'm missing a few guys. I know we got a transfer, so that'll be interesting how that goes.
Yeah.
I'm definitely missing one more though. There's another guy.
You've had a lot on your mind. Do you feel like it's it's always next man in on that defense, right?
But people don't realize as linebackers, like we depend on the defensive line, and the defensive line's full of a bunch of 5th and 6th year guys.
Yeah.
And when you have that, it makes a linebacker job so easy.
Yeah.
And when you have guys who can act out at corner and safety, who are just going to pick the ball off every single time and they're going to keep all the plays like interior. Like people don't understand like how easy that is to play. So
that has to feel pretty good, right? Having Coop and Riley and Kayvon, like what's going on? Like you're sitting in the middle, just going, "Hey, I'm cushy right now." Like
you got dudes like Lucas Van Ness rushing the passer, and then
that makes your life easy.
That's one of the biggest freak shows I've ever seen. He actually looks like Hercules. Y'all weren't playing.
Yeah, no, he's insane. Just like his genetics are second to none.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah. No.
Does he talk much?
Like yeah, he's a year younger than me. Me and him, like we're good good friends, like within the building, outside the building. Like I hung out with him a little bit, but not much. So
were you and Benson best friends outside of the building too?
Yeah, we'd hunt with each other, do some stuff.
Who'd you live with?
So I lived with a good group. I lived with Kyler Fisher, Jackson Ferentz, a walk-on tight end from Cedar Falls.
Yeah.
So you got to give him a shout out.
Shout out to him.
Talk about a guy who gives a hell of a look on scout team and like played his role at the highest level. Like he's that guy, and I respect the hell out of him. And then I lived with Logan Lee. He's just a tough like Midwest kid. Wins state wrestling championships.
I shook his hand.
Bear paws,
bro. Dude, I've shook Brandon Sheriff's hand, Tristan Wirf's. I shook his hand at the summer event, the Summer Family Hawkeye Legacy event, and I looked at him and I said, "Dude," I said, "Hey, you're in the wrong place because you're a lumberjack, and there's no forest around here." So certainly,
did you feel emasculated, Kloof?
I felt like a 14-year-old girl in the presence of Logan Lee.
Yeah,
he's a man.
Makes you feel that way for sure. And then I lived with Laporta as well.
Shout out to Laporta. He ran fast.
Major shout out to Laporta.
Boy can fly, I guess, huh?
He can
fly. More importantly, bro, he can play football. That's what matters.
Big time play football. We knew that though.
Yeah, he's underrated in my opinion too. I mean.
Yeah, he's kind of flying under the.
I mean that 40 just I feel like drafted him up another round at least.
at least.
For sure.
So, where did you train at?
I trained in Irvine, like Orange County, California.
Okay. And,
I trained just like
you're not a big Cali guy, I don't think.
Yeah.
He's got to be careful with that answer right now.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Jack. Why
A couple
didn't you
teams
go,
in Cali.
Why didn't you go with Sam out to Nashville and train with Jay Holt?
For me, like I met my agent through you remember the name Ross Pierce Baker? He went to Cedar Falls.
That's Ike's boy.
Yeah, it's so he's played for Alabama, won like 4 national championships, and like
He won it all there, dude.
Yeah, his agent, I met him and like I liked him a lot, just a genuine dude.
Felt good.
And he wanted me to come out here, and I'm just like, you know what, like let's just do it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what brought me out here.
No, that's super important. I mean, you want the right fit.
Yeah, and I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of cool guys out here. I worked with like Shea McClellan. He was the 19th overall pick.
Yeah,
and
Shea
like,
McClellan, that's a good
draft.
Yeah.
From Boise State, and then I worked with Luke Kuechly, and I've worked with Bobby Ariki from like he's at the Colts, but now he's a free agent. So I've worked with some good dudes.
If you're learning from Kuechly, then you're learning from the best.
I was just saying.
Yeah, no, that was amazing.
You worked out with Kuechly.
Yeah, for like a week. Yeah.
Nice.
Is he an animal still?
Bro, yeah, he could still play for sure.
Oh, he was
too bad. He quit kind of because concussions, but like that dude could still play for sure.
Is that something that worries you playing the game at all, or you just play? You just play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
man,
you're probably the guy who's handing them out. You probably didn't get many.
I mean, yeah. The worst part though is like I can't play the mouthpiece, and I feel like supposedly a mouthpiece is supposed to help you a little bit, but
there's a lot of big hitters that don't play the mouthpiece. George does not play with the mouthpiece.
Yeah, mouthpieces are terrible.
Whoa,
interesting,
dude. I'd be worried I'm gonna bite my tongue off.
Yeah. Hey,
Kev. Whatever.
Kev. Guess what? You know what? Me and you, we're not Jack Campbell, right?
We're not the same. We're just not the same.
Does this process excite you? You know, I guess what do we have? A month, maybe a little bit more than a month before this draft thing. Does it feel real?
I'm super excited. Not yet, but I'm super excited to just get back to Iowa and then just like figure everything out. So
yeah. That was my next question. I'm sure these guys have plenty more, but it feels like you're gonna miss Iowa. It feels like you're very patriotic towards Iowa. You've said it in several different ways during this interview.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to do it, but it reminds me of Josie. There's a lot of Josie in you. Josie's itching to get back to Iowa as soon as he can.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about being the governor and stuff like that. It's Have you had time to reflect on your 4 years in Iowa City?
I've taken like some time within this like little break before the combine and after the season to kind of reflect. But like I feel like it's not gonna hit me until like I'm done. Like I already miss it. I was out like 2 weeks, like out here training, and it's just not the same. Like training back in Iowa. So like someday, like whenever stuff's done, like I'm definitely gonna live back in Iowa. Probably just live in like some little town. Not be bothered by too many people. Hopefully be the governor. I'll be the governor.
You're probably going to move to this little town and they're immediately going to make you the mayor. And then next
Jack, I'm telling you, you're a lock for governor.
You're about to speak this into existence. For real.
I hope I am.
No, Jack. Literally, what you have to do is don't take a position on any political issue. Just run on the fact that you're Jack Campbell. You will win.
Yeah, exactly.
So this podcast has some pretty like rabid fans, and you already have secured thousands of votes today.
Let's go.
I don't even think they needed the podcast. I think any Hawkeye fan is already voting for him, and then you probably get a lot of Iowa State fans too.
And here's the announcement.
Yeah. You guys got anything else for him before we?
We gotta let G-Bone ask a question, dude. He's been sitting here patiently for over an hour.
That's
come on, buddy.
Yeah, no, I got a question for you. So, sorry. I watched a lot of your high school basketball tape. Incredibly impressive. No surprise there for how athletic you are. If you're suiting up for the Hawkeyes tomorrow, you're playing in Cover Hawkeye Arena. What's your stat line?
That's a good question.
Great question.
Who we playing?
You're playing
Iowa
the
State.
you're playing the team you hate the most.
Playing Iowa State.
I'm saying I'm at least having 10 points. I'll give myself 10 points. Those will all be like layups in the paint, maybe a few free throws.
Yeah.
I'm going to give myself 10 rebounds.
You're getting 15 rebounds, dude. You're the most physical player on the court, and you can jump out of the gym.
That is true. I didn't think about that. I haven't played in a while.
Have you did you play any pickup during your time at Iowa at all?
Not much because I
Smart man. Gotta save
Yeah,
the ankles, dude. Don't hurt the knees and ankles.
We tried that once and it was fuck.
Yeah. I would probably have I'd have 10 assists. So I'm going triple double.
He's dropping a triple double right now out of the
triple
cold.
double alert. I love to share the ball, and then I'm having 4 fouls.
Probably 5 and just going out right at the end.
Maybe.
Dude, I would pay so much money to see a Jack Campbell split the gap, steal, breakaway dunk, just hammer it. Oh my god.
Windmill.
As you say,
I feel like it'd be a lot cooler to be in a wrestling match though, like 1-on-1 with a dude.
Did you watch Big Ten finals?
I kind of kept up on my phone. I haven't watched them. I know like we're like, did we win it?
No, we got
second. No, we got
Penn State.
Yeah.
They went.
Penn State's
bonkers.
too good.
Yeah.
Would you step on the mat with Spencer Lee?
I would. I'm not going to speak on like what would happen. Like it's just not. I don't think you can
that's
compare
smart.
that.
There's a
He's
big
like-
running debate on this podcast on how Kluger would do against.
He's 125 pounds, right?
Yeah, you're
Well,
smoking.
he weighs in at
Like-
125 pounds. In the offseason, he'll be 150. So against somebody who's way bigger than him, he'll weigh in at 150.
Yeah, I also have a question for you, Drake.
Yeah.
This guy, bro. Do you think like if you go into the ring with Ronda Rousey, like would you beat the hell out of her?
Now, yes. When I was
Okay.
playing football, no chance.
Yeah, people because I answered that. I'm like, I don't know if I could. Honestly.
Ask your boy Ike on that one. Ask your boy Ike, Jack.
She's kind of little though. I didn't realize how little she was. So
Yeah.
like I feel like I could hammer fist her.
And man, as someone who was an introductory candidate to jiu-jitsu last year and had a slight injury that needed surgery after it because he's not that good, the better fighter is going to win every fucking time. I don't care how big you are.
Especially when it comes to fighting, because there's so many different aspects. So while you're trying to think about how to put together offense, you're already losing on defense. So then you're going to overextend yourself on offense trying to make up for that. They're going to counter that. And now you're so many steps behind. And literally, if you're on the ground with somebody who knows what they're doing and you don't, it is the most drowning feeling in the world.
It is
I got you.
extremely humbling. Let's put it that way.
So I don't know.
You've got your girlfriend now fiance, is that correct?
Shout out to the Meyer sisters.
Not yet.
Not yet. No.
Not yet. Eventually.
Yeah.
The dynamic
question.
there, Wieskamp and the Myers girls, and I mean that is
They somehow find their way into some pretty like Joe's in the NBA, and now I'm gonna have the opportunity in the NFL. So I'm kind of wondering.
Can I buy stock in your potential offspring?
I mean, just saying, if things work out with you and your girlfriend and they have kids and y'all have kids, that could be potentially the most athletic family to ever come out of the state of Iowa. I mean,
Do you know
guys
Joe
gotta-
pretty well?
Do I? Yeah, Joe's a great guy.
Shout out to Joe Wieskamp.
Shout out to Joe Weezy. He's
Yeah,
on
I've
the
You know
known-
what you got to do, Jack?
He's balling.
Yeah.
You guys got to plan your family so you have kids at the same time so they can all go to Iowa at the same time and you build a super team.
Exactly. We'll have to do that for sure.
that'd be elite.
Yeah. No,
So-
they're a good family. Megan, that's her name. She's a great girl. She's been very supportive of me, just like during the season. Like I'm all about football, and she knows that. So, like, I got to give the Meyer family a shout out for sure.
Shout out to him. Shout out to him. So now we're off to the NFL, and it's like it's all over again. You probably feel like you're stepping into Iowa for the first time again. You're gonna have some. Have you reached out? I don't want to hold you too much longer, but have you reached out to anybody? I know you're out there just like in a hotel room or whatever, just chilling. But
reached out to who?
Josie or anybody recent buddies who have graduated from the last couple of years, like, hey, what's it like? You got any advice? Or are you just kind of taking this on one step at a time and just gonna figure it out?
Dallas Clark's reached out to me quite a few times. So he's been kind of a good guy with that. I've texted, like there's like a group chat of like Pat and Josie, and like they've kind of settled.
It's a
like
good group chat.
It's pretty much just things like trying to shit on me.
Yeah. Yep. Mhm.
But so like just honestly, like for me, I just gotta know like, and I've talked like again like Luke Kuechly and like Bobby O and like Shea McCollum. They kind of gave me some idea of what it's gonna look like.
Mhm.
I've always heard the first year is the hardest year though, so just getting ready for that.
My last question, Jack. Did you just play for the best Iowa defense of all time?
Mm.
That's tough. I'm gonna respectfully
Played the fifth.
I'll give it to some guys who come before me. Like I would put our defense toe to toe with everyone, but like for me, like I just look up to those guys too much to say that we were better than them. So like I'm gonna put like Greenway and Hodge, that 05 defense up there. I'll put what is the 09 defense?
Anger and 09-10 defense.
Was he with Claiborne?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll put that defense up there.
A dirty team. Yeah.
And then I'll put the 15 defense up there because y'all guys.
Shout out to the 15 defense.
Yeah, I would say that those are like the highest standard of defenses that's come through, I feel like.
Well, I'll tell you what, from 3 former players who can speak on it, you're either 1 or 2. And 3 and 4 are simply too low for your guys' standard. So It's either first or second best to ever play KF era. So shout out to y'all.
I actually think 13 statistically was better for us than 15, but 15 just somehow found ways to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd give you guys 1 or 2.
Any last questions, Kev or Grant?
I got all the time in the world, so don't feel like you guys have to worry about anything.
Well, I mean,
Grant, hit us with one more.
Well, I mean, you guys stole a bunch of my questions. But so here's just kind of a broad one. Outside of the game of football, are there any athletes or people that you look up to?
I really like Giannis. I'm a huge Giannis fan.
Okay.
Like, talk about winning the right way. Like, did it with the city. He got drafted by no super team. I mean, Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, like those dudes are like really solid players, but at the same time, like didn't have to like recruit any big names. And like I'm a huge Bill Russell fan.
Really?
Wow.
That comes from Coach Ferentz.
Just the ultimate champion.
Coach Kirk Ferentz. He always talks about Bill Russell on our team meetings, and no one could win like him. And like he would. I watched a documentary on Netflix. He just dominated Wilt Chamberlain. He's like his little son.
He sunned Chamberlain.
Yeah, so I would say those two. Like thinking of basketball, I would also say in baseball, I'm a huge St. Louis Cardinal fan. So like growing up,
Pujols, Yachty,
Pujols, Yachty, like Mark McGwire, like Chris Carpenter, like guys like that. All guys I looked up to.
You're kind of you have a little bit of old soul to you.
I just have a respect for the old school guys. Yeah.
Do you like to read the Sunday paper and have a cup of coffee?
I don't read the paper. I don't mind a cup of coffee though.
Yeah, won't kick a cup of coffee out of bed.
A little coffee, huh?
I got one more. So every year we would read a book about leadership or teamwork. Did you guys still do that? And did you have any favorites?
Yep. So obviously we all read Slide Edge after our freshman year.
Yep.
But then if you get like voted on the leadership council, Coach Braithwaite will give a book, and like you'll just read it and report on it as like a group. We had like the program, I believe it's called.
Okay.
And I believe it was written by like 2 Navy SEALs. And for me, like it's very similar to the Slide Edge. It's just like little stories that give you perspective on like how to have a successful life. But like my favorite one is honestly just the story in Slide Edge about the frog and the bucket of cream.
Heck
like
yeah. Keep churning, baby.
Yeah, that's the thing that's gonna stick with me the most, I feel like, from a book from Iowa.
We're gonna add that to your T-shirt of Campbell Anger 2036, and then it's gonna be a little
kicking.
a little frog underneath that says "Keep churning," and just like the Goat Wallace shirt, it's gonna have your head on the frog. One more from me, and then we'll let you go. Favorite moment from your career in Iowa City?
That leads me, and I'm gonna have to ask you guys a question at the end of this.
Okay,
Cool. Please do.
But favorite moment from Iowa, probably the last game against Kentucky, just walking off the field and like being with the guys that I've been around and fortunate enough to be around for the last 4 years.
Y'all make
like,
Kentucky look pathetic.
That was something that I'll never forget. Just the feeling of like going out on top, like on a win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we were in the best bowl game, but at the same time, like anytime you can win a bowl game at the end of the season, it's a good feeling.
feels good.
And like it always feels good for sure.
Yeah.
But I would say that probably is my favorite moment. There's so many of them, man.
What about that Penn State game where it got fucking nuts?
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite plays is when I broke that guy's ribs.
Oh, yes. And then also, I forgot to ask you this: absolute pick six against Minnesota this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
You salty about it?
What the hell?
Man, I don't.
You had to have still put that on your stat sheet as a touchdown, dude.
I should have. I didn't though. Yeah.
That.
Oh. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Here's my question to you guys, because I heard this somewhere and I can't remember what it was, but if you have like 3 pictures from Iowa football history that you had to pick to show what the Iowa football program is like all about, or like if like no one knew like what Iowa football was, you have 3 pictures to choose. What 3 pictures are you choosing over the Coach Kirk Ferentz era, and why?
UNKF is one of them for sure.
I don't.
It has to be. It
honestly,
shows like the unadulterated love that he has for his players at like a fatherly level.
Yeah, you set yourself up for that one, Jack.
I wasn't trying to do that.
Shit. Pictures.
I got my 3. I thought about it though. I've thought about this, so I'll just give you my 3 quick. I'm going Pat Anger, Brett Greenwood, and Coach Doyle leading out the Swarm.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
From Pittsburgh, that was a phenomenal one.
That was fucking cool.
I'm putting that on there. I'm doing. I'm probably doing. I said I had these, but now I can't remember this one. I'm definitely doing Ike Budker, just in a 2-point stance, just looking girthy as hell, going up against Taco Charlton from Michigan, just dominating that first rounder.
Yeah,
I'm doing that one, and then I think I'd take a picture of like just like probably like the whole Iowa defense, and like Hodge and Greenway probably just like tackling something. There's got to be a picture out there of those two just smashing something.
Yeah,
know what? There's a picture. I think it was in the weight room at the old weight room, and it's just Bob Sanders just running down the field like a freaking shot out of a cannon.
There's also a pretty iconic picture of Ike steamrolling some kid from Iowa State. I really love that picture. He's out in space in the alley.
He's literally on top of him. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There's Josh Jackson with the one-handed pick.
Iconic.
Yeah.
That's an iconic photo.
I might take the picture of Claiborne blocking the punt at Penn State.
Yep.
That
gets shown every year.
Yeah.
That's a good question, Jack. It really is. I'd have to think.
I would have to go through the catalog.
Yeah.
Give you a better answer.
It's been so long since we've seen those pictures. I might been in the building a long time.
I might take.
You know what?
Drake.
There's actually a great picture. We lost the game. Yeah, we lost the game, but it's the Outback Bowl 2014. And it's just like, what's that?
Oh, I guess we did play it on January 1st. I'll shut up.
Yeah. But it's just like a rugby scrum, and it's just like these just massive human beings like pushing each other against each other. It's an extremely physical game. We lost by a touchdown, but I like that picture.
I will say, Drake, didn't you break your leg? You were like on a
I
car.
did. I broke my leg in a
I think that'd be
gnarly
pretty
manner.
cool too.
So there's a fun picture just for me and George that we share back and forth sometimes, because as they were carting me off, they took a picture of him like with his arms behind his back. He just looked at me, he's like, "You're a psychopath." That was a fun one from my memory book.
Yeah.
Pulling up here, Clue. Yep. Drake.
R.I.P. that leg.
R.I.P.
That's a tough one for the kid right there, you know?
Yo. Go scroll down to the old hitting a home run in Yankee Stadium. I love that pick out of Drake.
Yeah.
If you blow that picture up, that it says Yankee Stadium in the background somewhere.
Yeah,
so that's a cool one.
That is sick.
You know what? I'm gonna
Now we're just shitting on me.
I think we gotta throw an honorary shout out to Kluver Fawn in the 2-yard.
Okay. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. Fuck me. Jack, thank you for coming on.
Thanks,
man. It's been
You're the
a pleasure.
absolute
Best
man.
of luck to you, dude.
When you are when and wherever you are drafted, and after your rookie season, we'd love to have you back on and catch up.
For sure.
And I think I speak for everybody here when we say we're genuinely looking forward to being your fan in the future, because you're a true Hawk, man.
I want to put it out there too. Two crazy things that I'm going to relate you to Coach Ferentz a little bit. I reached out to Jack right after the bowl game, and he's like, and everybody knows that Jack, he even said it. He's not about the spotlight. He doesn't want to talk. He's not going to go do 10 different podcasts. Jack is probably not going to have his own podcast like we do someday. He's just not mouthy like I am. He responds back to me, wait until, let me get prepped for the combine and everything. But I don't usually do stuff like this, but for you guys, I got you. And I was like, bro, come on now. Right. You had me fired up. Now, we hadn't talked since that day. It's been like over 2 months, Jack. You get done at the combine. It's like 11 p.m.
11 p.m., Jack.
The other night. And I get a DM that says, hey, I'm ready to rip it whenever. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy, like, he remembered us. Like, were you just bored, or do you just have, you're like that. You're like KF. You remember everybody, every name, everything you said you were going to do. Like, that's some real shit right there, Jack. Yeah.
No, I feel like it's just when you say you're gonna do something, you just gotta do it. And like at the same time, I was kind of looking forward to it. Like there were some times I'd just be sitting around and I'd be thinking about different things I should say, and I'd write them down in this notebook. So
you get through them all?
Yeah.
You got anything else you'd like to say before you leave and right off into the NFL?
Yep.
No, I'm just excited for this next step. And I'm just super fortunate that you guys chose me to be on this podcast.
Shit, dude, come on. We're excited as hell for you.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Yeah, man. We are excited to see you get drafted here in the next 2 months. And then obviously you have a long NFL career, and then your political career. If you want to announce it on the podcast,
yeah.
If we're still doing this in 10 years, I'm actually
okay.
We would love to announce your candidacy on this podcast, this show.
Sure.
Yeah.
And maybe
seriously, man, thank you for being a Hawkeye, and thank you for doing it the right way. It makes us alumni feel really good about where the program's at. And so just thank you for everything.
You want to give the pork producers a shout out?
Yeah, I was going to say maybe the pork producers could fund my campaign.
Let's go.
Let's go.
They would be behind it, my man. I'm pretty sure. Shout out to them. Jack Campbell, everybody. I don't know if this is 401. It might be after spring break so that people are back in their routines and we get this thing to do some serious numbies. So it might be like 404 or something like that.
Bro, it's got Jack Campbell on the podcast. What do you mean? These people have been waiting to hear from Jack Campbell for 4 years. This is the king of Iowa City.
I understand, but they're not Jack Campbell. They're not. There's some people out there who will let a couple episodes build up and then they'll just miss that Jack Campbell was on the show. So we got to make sure it comes out at a good time.
Ain't nobody missing Jack Campbell.
Yeah, you're right. Let's be honest. Thanks again, Jack. Everybody listening, thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.
Thank you.